start streaming now. And I hope this is going to work. Start streaming. Welcome, YouTube. Is this going live? I hope so. I'm really excited to be here with you again today. We're going to be drawing together. I have some really wonderful references in store for us to work from. And I have some friends in my Zoom room. And we're about to start a 10-minute portraiture session. And I have done a lot of these live streams, but it has been a while. I can't remember when the last one was where we just did 10-minute portraits. It's a practice that I love. It's after a couple, I feel like I really get into the flow of these, and I do have a regular quick sketch session, so your drawings don't have to be like mine. This is just an opportunity for us to spend some time together, drawing together, and I would love to know who's here in the YouTube chat, and I'll be giving away one of my sketches from this session to someone in the chat. So if you would like to win, then put in hashtag I want to win in the chat and you'll win one of my original drawings. I'll send it anywhere in the world. Louisa's here, Sarah, Astrid, Hilda, Ike, Kiki, and Lovana, Laurie, and I have some people in the Zoom room. This is super cool. I'm excited. It's been a while and I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So here we are. For those of you who are not familiar with Dino Serrao, I have, let me see, that was from yesterday's live stream. Where did I put him? We'll come over here. Here's Dino. Dino is an incredible street photographer. And if you check out his Instagram channel, you'll be treated to some really wonderful videos where he has, he just meets people on the street all over the world and says, oh, you look really wonderful. I'd love to take some photos. And then it's just such beautiful, moving encounters that he shares with these people. And for me, it really feels like traveling, just like seeing all these places he goes and seeing his interaction with these people. It's so nice to see. Okay, Ed says not rolling it. Let me know if YouTube, I think there may be a delay. I hope it's rolling now and you're seeing what's happening here. Here is a drawing I did in August in anticipation of this live stream of Dino. This was a 10-minute portrait. This kind of thing is what I'm going to be going for today. I have some polychromos pencils. I'm going to be working on Nostalgie paper. Hanemüller Nostalgie is like my favorite paper. What did I? Oh, here. Yeah, here's the drawing I did yesterday in the test stream of Alana. Thank you to those of you, who spontaneously joined that stream. I already got some hashtag I want to wins. That's nice. Morn, Sarah, Christina, Silke, Lewis. Great, Lewis. It was. Thank you so much for your comment on yesterday's stream. I now have light coming from both sides, so I hope it's going to be illuminated really nicely. Hesh is here. 67 and Nilorak 85. Robert. Awesome. Fred Stone is here. Oh, all these people that I love seeing your little icons and profile pictures. It's so nice to have you there. All right, I've got so many cool references. And I just, I dropped this one. I put it up on Instagram. This is Angelo. There's a really lovely video where Dino meets Angelo somewhere in Italy, I presume. And it's just, there's so many heartwarming encounters in his content. It's really nice. So if you feel like feeling good, because there's feeling good is important. There's so much terrible stuff that it's good to cherish the good stuff and see the beauty in all of these faces from all over the world. And it's really nice to be able to share that together. Louise is talking to Morn, who's on Zoom. You can come and join our Zoom room. I'll just check. I have Zoom open so that I'll actually be able to speak to people. We're about to start drawing, and then once we get into it, I encourage my friends who are in Zoom to speak up, and we'll chat. It may take me a while to notice that you're trying to get in once I get into the flow of drawing, but if you know your way to my Zoom room, please join so that we can actually have a conversation. And please ask questions in the chat as well and put in your hashtag I want to win. And but for that extra level of interactivity, I would love you to join my Zoom room. We're about to start drawing. Gentille. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last word, but nice to have you here, Piotr. I would need a phonetic explanation of Vysjusticum to be able to say that, but Dzień dobry, I can do. Nice to have you here. All right. I'm pretty sure this guy's name's Angelo. I'm just going to check where my paper is. This is, Hanamula Nostalgie paper. I've got everything in frame. I have my reference right next to me. You have it on the YouTube screen. Peter Sara, my father, who is downstairs in my house today, is also in the chat. Hello, Dad. Nice to have you here too. I live in Germany and my parents are over from Australia, so it's extra special to have them here. All right, I have a timer here. I'm going to set a 10-minute timer, and I'll let you know when we're halfway. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's just get into it. 10 minutes. Let's go. And now, my friends in Zoom, if you're able to speak and draw at the same time, feel free to unmute and speak to me. Thank you for joining me in the Zoom room. And anyone on YouTube who feels like it is welcome to find your way to my Zoom link if you know the way. It was in the email that I sent out. If you're not already on my mailing list, there's a link in the description where when I set up these live streams, I get in touch and tell people what's going on and send the Zoom link so that we can hang out together. And if you would like to, for future streams, get that information in advance and the Zoom link, then please do sign up to my newsletter. The link is in the description below, alongside some other wonderful links that are also in the description, which we can talk about throughout the process here. So it's always good. It's funny. I've done a lot of live streams, and I get these like pre-stream nerves. Are the kids in bed? Is everything ready? Are the rabbits safe? Am I ready? Do I have the reference ready? Is OBS set up properly? Is my microphone plugged in? How do I sound? All of these things going on. And I feel like Shannon is here. Hello, Shannon. You're going to come to Zoom in a minute. Excellent. In a minute, after this portrait, I will let people into Zoom who want to get in. And together with Shannon, drawn together, we'll be back as well. But I had a phase, and Shannon as well, where sometimes it was like 2 live streams a week, and it was just like totally in my stride. And now I feel like this feels auspicious to get back to it. It's been a while. There's been a lot going on, and it's really great to be here. And like getting ready, it was just kind of the pre-game jitters. And once I get into drawing, it's always really it feels good to focus and just get to it. All right, zoom in a bit here. We have some compositional real estate for Angelo. I have a blending stump with me as well, which I may use at some stage. How is everyone in all of the places where you are? It's been great to see that many people, even in the absence of my live streams, have been very busy creating, which is really, really, really great. I was saying a lot yesterday. I did a half-hour drawing yesterday as I was testing the setup and just having a chat with some friends, and it just feels feels really good to be back. I really enjoy live streaming so much, and it's been an unceremonious break, which just happened, which kind of coincided with daylight savings and the kids just being not going to sleep an hour earlier just because someone said the clock changed. But now it's getting dark and cold again, cozy inside. Kids are tired earlier. A lot of things have happened. After this live stream, whenever you get a chance, if you don't already know Dino's Instagram page, it's so worth just spending some time browsing his videos, because they're so beautiful, so nice. It's really interesting. We've had street photographers on this channel in the past. We've done a few sessions of working from street photographers' portraits, and it's something, if you've been with us in those streams, we're about at the halfway mark now. I just love the feeling of like the vicarious travel by seeing the photography of that these wonderful photographers share, seeing the portraits, and also the wonderful, really like clear feeling of the shared humanity that we have, like in all these different contexts where all these people go, places that I will never be, in all these different situations, but just to see like the interaction with all of these beautiful people all over the world, just doing their thing. It's so nice, such a treasure to be able to partake in witnessing and these faces, and then to put our own extra spin into it by drawing from these amazing references is something so special, which I really value on this busy, noisy, online world. I'm just gonna, I've got 3.5 minutes left. I'm just gonna rub my blending stump over this for a bit, see what happens. Yes, I definitely will. I have it up on the YouTube screen, but I will, yes. Dino Serrao, DinoSerrao. I just saw that he's got a book coming out called Dino Moments. If you're reading it in English, it would probably say dino, like dinosaur. And it looks like a treasure of a book. It'll be interesting because so much of the experience of his work is through this online presentation where you get like an animated, moving experience of the subject of the photo. And it'll be really interesting to see those photos presented as a collection of photos rather than the quick-paced, action-packed social media experience. Just to be able to like sit and take time with an image is a wonderful thing. I have this photo book which Claire got for me last year, Underworld mugshots from the 1920s in Sydney, which I have done sketches from in previous live streams, 10-minute portrait live streams. And I recently filmed a tutorial and chose a photo, a 100-year-old portrait photo from that book. And it's so nice to be able to like open a book full of like really beautiful images, and yeah, it's just such a special thing. So I'm really excited to see that Dino has put a book together. So once we've got just over a minute left, once this drawing is done, I will put Dino's name in the chat. If anyone is waiting in line to get into Zoom, I will let you in after this. Take a moment to breathe, collect ourselves. And it's okay if, this is just the first portrait, and if you're kind of stumbling through it, haven't drawn for a while, maybe just watching, maybe listening and doing something totally different. Whatever you're up to, it's all valid, and however you are participating, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. And how's the sound? How's the video quality? It was a couple of streams that I did when I tried to do this one in August, and also my Noam Chomsky stream, which just like super laggy. I was just like so kind of confused, and I had tried to improve the quality of my streams by having a higher frame rate and higher resolution, and my computer wasn't playing along. All right, that was 10 minutes. Let me have a look in Zoom. 2 people are waiting to get into Zoom. Welcome. And yes, in the Zoom chat, I'll just type Dino's name in. Oh, caps lock. Hakiki and Zan. Okay. This paper size is A5 paper, like an outstretched hand size. All these hashtag I want to wins, hooray! Thank you, Laurie. All right, let's have a look who else we have here. Peps Photography, I think is the Instagram account name of this person, who, if I remember the video correctly, was a Belgian in New York who's also a photographer. I have next in my list of references here. And for those of you who came to my failed live stream where we were going to work on these images, we may be repeating some of the references because there were some really good ones. So yeah, last time when the live stream didn't work out, we just hung out on Zoom, which was also really nice, and worked on some of the portraits. Okay. So for those of you who are in Zoom, if you have YouTube open at the same time, you'll see the reference as well, because I don't have the virtual camera thing happening at the moment, because that was also a bit clunky the last few times I tried to use it. I would like Peps, if that's his name, filling up a bit more space on the page here. So let's go. Next 10-minute drawing. And that drink that I wanted. Piotr, I'm afraid I can't understand umokoana camera. But I appreciate you chatting in the chat, although I cannot understand what you're typing. So I was yesterday's live stream, because it was just a spontaneous test for this one. This is spontaneous in the way that yesterday I was like, I'm going to do that live stream tomorrow. And then I did a more spontaneous one, which was like, I'm going to test and make sure it works. and some people came and hung out with me, which was lovely on such short notice. So I wonder if the people who are here at the moment, it's amazing. I see 32 of you are watching. That's so nice. Thank you for being here. I know Lewis watched yesterday's the replay, and I wonder who else got to watch it, if anyone drew along. If you are drawing along, if you post on Instagram, you can use the hashtag drawing with Dylan and tag me, because I would love to see your work. Oh, and I have a new thing, I think, since live streaming, is I now have a Drawing with Dylan Discord server. And if you don't know what that is, but you do know what old school chat rooms are, it's a bit like a chat room, but only for people who are invited. So my vision for that space is there are people who can share their work from my tutorials and from live streams and from my weekly drawing sessions, and sharing resources and just connecting in a more focused way than Instagram, which has become a very noisy, distracting place. Yeah, I kind of think it could be a really amazing place where there's like there can be a real sense of connection parallel to the actual like live streams and events and stuff. So if you would like to connect to that, I'll see if I can share the link in the chat. I'm not sure. Or write to me. That may be better. I don't want bots joining the Discord server and making a ruckus. So get in touch and I will I'll get you the invite. Yes. This one? Thank you. Can you read? I'm not sure is Piotr speaking Polish? Yeah. This camera is a streaming camera. It's not as good quality as the one back here. I have a shelf behind me. You can see this vertical timber here. I just have some wooden shelving, and I have my good camera on a little tripod behind me, looking over my shoulder with a zoom lens. And this is a little live stream webcam. And I have my computer is on a raised pedestal because sometimes I use it as a standing space, and I just want to be able to look straight instead of looking down at my computer. So it's sitting there. That's where this camera is. And I actually got it stuck to this little wooden pedestal that I made using a kneaded eraser. It's sticking it in place. Yeah, whatever works. I put it there and it just kind of kept drifting and moving, and then I just stuck it in place with a kneaded eraser. Which I was able to borrow from yesterday with my graphite drawing. I was like, I need some of that eraser. Yeah. We're almost halfway, and I sometimes like I was just feeling like, I focused on the glasses. I felt like I kind of slowed down a lot, and sometimes I like a kind of loose beginning. So now I'm just gonna do some loose stuff. And so Eddie, you speak Polish? Ah, very good. Cool. Yeah, I have done there have been a few changes in my live stream setup. In the beginning, I did the whole thing with my mobile phone, and I have a tripod which has like an arm that raises out of the tripod and you can tip it to the side. And I had a little phone mount like this, which I had my phone on just hovering above my workspace. And a couple of years back, I got a better camera because I was filming so many tutorials and live streaming, and I thought it'd be really nice to have better image quality. And then I think it was from France von Stone. In her tutorials, she would have a little face camera, which I also I really enjoyed, just being able to see her speak when she was explaining things. And so I copied that, and I used my phone for a long time as like a face camera, and then I had the hanging over my workspace as well. I had my new camera, and then I was working flat so much, and I wanted to work upright. So I got a zoom lens and thought, if I put it behind me, it can look over my shoulder as I'm drawing, and then I can be upright as I draw. And at some point, my phone stopped communicating with my computer. So I got this little webcam, which is a Logitech webcam, to do the face interaction. Yeah. How's your filming been going, Zan? Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I do. But anyone who would like to live stream, like if you have a phone, you can start with that. And I think a really important thing is, or something that was very helpful, just the realization that it's cool just to start doing it. And if and as things progress, you can kind of modify, upgrade. I also got a I can't remember. Oh, I used to have this little like, what are they called? A lav mic, a little clip-on microphone, and the sound quality wasn't amazing, and my beard would kind of go against it. And eventually I got this one, a used microphone. Most of my stuff I bought secondhand and in perfect condition. And this is a Rode NT USB microphone, which I have. Because good sound quality is good. Especially if a lot of you are probably not watching the video the whole time if you're drawing along. But being able to hear and for it to sound nice is nice. So yeah, and there are a lot of options. If anyone's interested in this stuff, there is incredible potential for spending time watching reviews and comparisons about all the gear, and there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I'm happy with what I've chosen to use. And I know there are other comparable things, and there are some really affordable, comparatively affordable, because you can spend a lot of money on it. But there's also you can get going fairly inexpensively. Like I would say, if you already have a phone, then for under $100, you could get some like a good microphone and a tripod. If you have that. And if you're shopping secondhand, you could get it probably half price, because there's a lot of stuff already out there that people just aren't using. That is already 10 minutes. Interesting. I feel like the flow of this was so different to the first one of Angelo. So this model's name on Instagram is Peps Photography, like Pepsi without an I, Peps Photography. And it was fun in there, in Dino's interaction with him. It was like, oh yeah, I'm also a photographer, and my dad is a photographer, and he has been traveling recently, and a lot of the stories that he shared about, he'll see people taking photos, and he's just like, oh, can I take your can I take your phone? And he'll take photos of them. And it's been really nice hearing Dad's stories about how photography is just such a wonderful way to connect. Oh, Shannon's coming to Zoom, hooray. I'm letting you in, Shannon. You are here. Hello, hello. Welcome. And how's everyone doing on YouTube? That's portrait 2 done. Whew. Let me know how you're doing. And if you would like to win one of these sketches, put in hashtag I want to win, and you could win. But I'm no longer using SketchYard, not StreamYard, because it costs $50 a month. Wait a minute. Here, Isabel. So I won't be able to instantaneously choose a winner. It's going to take a bit at the end of the stream. So there is a brim of this hat, but I'm just going to crop over a bit here. And if anyone in the chat needs to see that brim, or anyone in Zoom, say, could you just move the crop a bit, and I'll make some more space so we can see what's going on there. Yeah. All right. And this, I think Argentina, Isabel is from Argentina. And I did do a drawing of Isabel last time in the non-live stream where we just sketched on Zoom. Yeah, I think that was my favorite drawing I did last time. So we'll see how it is today. I wish I knew where the drawings were from last time. I have so much stuff. We're moving soon, and I'm looking through all of my work, and I don't know where those drawings are at the moment. And I'm also offering all of my work for sale, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm logistically going to do it, but I sent out an email to my mailing list today, and I posted on Instagram yesterday. And I think everything that I'm going to offer will be between 50 and 300 euros. And if there's stuff of mine that you're interested in, it could be yours. And somehow I'm going to find a way to present it, because I have a vision. Especially a lot of the... 10 minutes, I'll put the timer on. A lot of my sketches from my Tuesday practice, there's some really cool stuff in there. And it's all just like shut away in my drawers, and I never look at it. But I've thought about a way of presenting them, because usually I have like a big, 4 times the size of this, I have this big sheet of paper that has lots of portraits on it. And I've thought about a way of attaching them onto an A5 sheet, like taking out individual highlights from the sketches and attaching them to some of this paper, and thought that could be a really cool way to like present some of my favorites. And if people are interested in those, I will sometime soon, find a way to present and make them available to you. And if anyone watching here sells a lot of art, please let us know how you do it. in every aspect, every interpretation. How do you do that? I've chatted with people who have like just put everything by hand on their website. Some people using Big Cartel. Also had an idea about doing maybe a crowdfunder, like a Kickstarter campaign, and different tiers for different kinds of work that I'm offering. doing that, there's also a vision of having something like the large thing that I'm working towards in mind. Um, and I've been thinking, I think it was sometime last year around this time that I talked about offering a mentorship. And that is something moving into winter that I'm really thinking about a lot. It'd be really cool, something I would enjoy offering, to have like personal interaction with people who really want to focus a lot on their work, and I can kind of share my experience and also my undivided attention, to help anyone who feels like that could be of value to them. I have done mentorships in the past, which I greatly benefited from, and that was a nice thing to be offered. So somehow I was envisioning maybe I could do like a Kickstarter where there are these different tiers, and part of it is like get a sketch, get a painting, or participate in the mentorship. And maybe for the higher tier paintings, there's like one-on-one sessions on offer as well. Or I don't know. It's something I'm still thinking through. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, then please let me know. Because I think that would... Yeah, right? I think that could... Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I haven't counted, but I have so many portraits from all of the live streams and tutorials that I've done. And I just looked at what it requires to set up an online shop, and you need photos of each thing, and you need a description of each thing, and they have things like on Kaleido, where I've set things up in the past, which hasn't led to selling any art. But like for each individual piece, it requires that you set up each thing. And I was thinking, what's the coolest? I feel like the coolest way to do it would be like if I had a box full of pictures and people could just come and flip through them. I'd be like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Kind of like at a flea market or something. I feel like that would be the vibe. I think just to be able to browse rather than look at like each individual thing. If there was like, because of the like Tuesday sketches, I have thousands of them. I don't know how many of them I will select to into a book. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for the input. A Tuesday sketches book. Yeah, that could be a cool thing for a Kickstarter as well. Yeah, there's what's that? Yeah, there are some very funny stories. um, yeah. uh, it, if only sometimes I look through and I'm like, oh, I remember that, and I see these images, and it's so interesting because it really is. It's thousands of portrait sketches over the years, and um, I flip through them, and then it's just like it brings back that moment, and like it's so much fun. I love the Tuesday sessions. It's so cool, but I don't always remember. Sometimes I can't recognize who's in the drawing, and I don't always remember what the prompt was. But every time it's funny. There's just such wonderful stories and interactions, and yeah, if some of the life of the Tuesday sessions could be communicated in that way, that would be really, really cool. Someone once said, yeah, well, Barbara does a really amazing summaries in German of the storyline, and it's so funny. And Patricia also, she has often written like what's been going on, because the most wonderful and absurd things get said. Yeah, that's cool because it lives from everyone's participation. So some collaborative effort. That's a a nice idea. The 3 minutes left. Anyone feeling like you have this is something I say a lot because I really like it. If you, in this process, you feel like you have the seed of a portrait, which could be like it's inviting you to do more, that is something you can totally do. Like if the 10-minute timeline feels a bit hectic and you're like, oh, it's starting to feel exciting, and it's like, oh, we've only got 2.5 minutes left, and carry on with it later, and maybe you bring it to a level of finish after. I feel like the loose, fast paced beginning, it's a really cool way to, in a short time frame, to do something interesting. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, that didn't work out so well, but sometimes in this short space of time you'll be like, oh, this is cool. And then if you can spend a bit more time in it, perhaps it's sometimes I've really structured the way I do it. I'm like, the first half I do line work, the second half I do hatching. Or if it's just something really quick and I've only got line work done, I'm like, oh, this could really be nice with like an additional hatching session, perhaps. I think just doing lots of these quick sketches can be really cool for that. There's really the potential that something special happens that you may want to continue later. Oh, this will be really interesting to find this one again and see how they are alongside each other. Has anyone watching this ever made a book? I imagine it to be an epic undertaking. If there's any low-key solutions for doing epic things, then well, that's good. Degrees of simplicity are appreciated. Hi, Aiken.
Hi. With who are you drawing?
I'm drawing Isabel from Argentina. Aiken. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's called Chatbox or Chatbooks. Yeah. Chatbooks. That's interesting. I wonder about that, the idea of like a print it yourself book, which is affordable. Nicolas Oribe did something super cool where he offered his amazing books as PDFs for people, if they want, to print themselves. And I was just imagining, in combination with that, if there's like this, if people purchased the file and then they could get it printed in a really cost-effective way, because I know that shipping is like a nightmare. It's so expensive to send books around. But if people could do that print... What was that? Mm-hmm. All right, that's 10 minutes. All right, cool. If you remember the name of this person, then send it to me. That would be interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look. Cool. That was Isabel. Maybe I'll put their names on here. Isabel. If I have their names, some people's names I have, some people's Instagram accounts I have. I'll just head on over to Zoom, see if anyone's knocking at the door, waiting to get in. No, everyone's already in. That's good. If anyone on YouTube would like to join us in Zoom and you know the way, or if you don't know the way, you can head to my website, and in the Learn With Me section, there is a link to my Zoom room. You may find it, you may not. If you don't find it, if you would really like to hang out with us in Zoom, because I love it, thank you everyone who's in Zoom, sign up to my mailing list. The link is in the description. And when I do these, I send the invitation to the Zoom room along with the live stream link. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I love doing live streams, and I would really love to do a lot more. It's something which really energizes me. I enjoy the community aspect of working together like this. And it's really fun. So like and subscribe. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or learn from me in a more structured way, I do monthly tutorials, and I have my Patreon account in the description. This is my most recent tutorial, is on composition, which just came out last week. And this is from the image I mentioned earlier, which is from this 1920s mugshot. And I went through these tiny thumbnails and looking at the same reference image in different ways, and to see what kind of effect that can have on the feel of the image, just by playing around with composition. And yeah, every month I do film a tutorial to a different topic, which is a thing. If you're interested in that, then check out the Patreon link in the description. Okay. What'd you say, Aiken?
Is that photo from the bonus card stuff in Tingled? No, not that one.
That one?
You drawed.
No, my 11-year-old is sitting on the floor watching me draw. He should be in bed. You're talking about this?
Yeah.
No, it's from a mugshot book that Claire gave me last year. All right, now we'll draw Tony.
Papa, kann ich Stifte für dich anschließen?
No, not at the moment. It's super noisy. Please don't do that. Don't play with that, please, because it's super noisy and it could make a mess. And if you would like to be here, then please don't do things which freak me out in the middle of drawing. That would be great. Just don't play with that. It will make a huge mess if it was over. You could draw something if you want. Or you could go to bed. So Tony, I believe, is from Peru and is a chauffeur, perhaps, in New York. And Dino took some really epic photos of Tony. And if you browse Dino's Instagram, you may find them and love them. So I'll go with the blue. These are Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, by the way. If are people saying, oh, the chat hasn't been, what's going on here? Chatbox Monthly, capture your photos, 30 or more photos. It's inexpensive. You can order as many as you like. Cool. Yeah, if people have any questions, or you would like to tell me what the last thing is that you ate, you can tell me in the chat on YouTube, because apparently YouTube sees when people are chatting, and I know in this format people are busy drawing, but if people are chatting, then YouTube's like, oh, the people watching this are interested and they're interacting with each other, so maybe we'll show some more people. It's a good thing to be busy in the chat, so feel free to speak up and tell us what the last thing you ate was. Or anything else, or what you're drawing with. That would perhaps be more relevant. If you're drawing along, what are you drawing with? Chat. I am not hungry, actually. I'm very satisfied from the drink of water I had. It was it cooled me down on the inside. Sushi. So good, sushi. I want sushi now. Now I'm hungry. Now I want sushi.
Me too.
I could want sushi. Chris wants sushi. Egg and sourdough bread. Oh, wasabi peas. Nice.
Oh, Lego.
Hitachi Kawa line maker fountain pen. That sounds cool.
Sushi, Lego, wasabi,
Cool.
Lego, the other stuff. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Some people who I follow on Instagram are doing Inktober, and it's so cool. Like I love ink. Just haven't been using it a lot recently, but yeah, fountain pens are so good. So it's nice to hear you're working with a fountain pen. Hype up the chat. Mythological, yeah. Who missed mythological? I sure did. I certainly was. Yeah, that was such a wonderful, enjoyable phase. They're sculptures that someone made.
I thought they were just like found never.
Someone made those. Yeah, that was. Oh, I loved it, and this process of getting ready to move. I have so many supplies for making ink, and I'm like, oh, that would be so cool to make more ink and watercolor paints. I would love to make my own paints because recently I've been spending. I have focused more on watercolor.
Here's some supplies.
Oh yeah, Icon has just found this glass of rusty stuff for iron, which is a really wonderful modifier for any kind of tannin ink. Yeah, so here's a nice jar of rusty things. Yeah, it's so fun. Such a wonderful process, and it was really fun to share it as well, because that when I first started making ink, just the way I walked through the world was just like, maybe I can make ink from that. Maybe I can make something with that. Like, oh, I wonder what color I get out of that. How would that be? And it was really a exciting time of exploration. Ha ha ha. Yeah. I can show you. I have so flipping through the work that I am offering for sale. A couple people have spoken up about a couple pieces. One is on the wall behind me, and it's been interesting because I've been able to watch them fade, and they still look good, mostly. I can show you a couple of examples in a bit.
Who does someone want to have?
Because they still, like, they're drawn as I drew them, and mostly the kind of value structure stays intact. Some of the colors have changed with time. Anything that has, I can stop talking to me because I'm trying to talk to these people. Okay, it's hard for me to concentrate when you're talking to me at the same time. You can ask me everything you want to tomorrow. I can. Yeah, the acorn ink, walnut ink, the really dark inks that have iron in them, they have, like, monks used them hundreds of years ago, and the work that they made is still legible. So there are archival inks that you can make yourself, but a lot of the floral inks, the botanical inks, can be quite fugitive, they call it, because they like to run away from you, those colors. So that has been really interesting, because at the time, like 2020, I was big into it, and that's when I did my Ink Naturally course, which is still available and still super fun. And so back in 2020, I was like, how are these going to look in a couple of years? And now I've been able to see them change, which has been really interesting. So a lot of this is like you can hardly see this on the screen, like a ghost image. The drawing I'm doing, it's just really faint. I can see it. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Sometimes I look up at what's going on the screen. I'm like, oh, what's everyone looking at? Oh yes, yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, I think I'll intensify this. I've gone in gently, and then I looked up and realized, whoa, no one can see it. All right, so now I'll we're halfway in, so I've set myself up, put things in place in a subtle way, and now I can get a bit more decisive with my lines. Yeah, so that's been really interesting. Just the past few days, just flipping through my work and being like, oh, look how that looks now. And it's still cool. Just yeah, some of the I for the longest time, like in the beginning, I only used acorn ink and walnut ink, and everything was brown. It was just like sepia party. Everything I did was dark brown. So I spent a long time because I came from ink to then making my own ink, and so I went from like black to brown, and that was already like, oh wow, now I can use brown, and that's nice. And so I was a very close friend of those earthen hues. And then when I started introducing these like more vibrant colors, it was like, whoa, what's going on? And that was super fun. And it's interesting to see that some of those super fun, vibrant, living colors fade, just like everything. And that is part of what makes them exciting and beautiful as well, is that just like the fall, that they have their autumnal phase after their passionate, vivid time of saturation, that they kind of withdraw the color, but the image still remains, and it goes through a transformative process, which I think is perhaps even more interesting than something that always stays the same. It is, isn't it? I have also had conversations with people like, you can't sell someone something that's going to change. And then it's like, but everything's changing. Exactly. Like being party to that process of transformation. That, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's a really interesting idea. Consumable art. Yeah. It'd be funny if I had a look by date. It'd be like, if you don't, after the first few months, you won't be able to see this anymore. I did make, oh, what was it? I think I the most kind of involved ink I ever made was of violets. And there were a lot of violets where I lived, wild violets. And I also made sure always to not take too much. Um, and there was real, like when there is great abundance, to take from that abundance. And so I tried making some violet ink, and it was so interesting because it's reacted with the paper in a way that it smelled incredible, and it looked like a lavender color. And when I put it on the paper, it turned into the palest green and was almost invisible. and there were all these tiny little flowers that I collected, and then I had this liquid which almost vanished and changed color, and it was so interesting to make and experience. But it was like, wow, this is yeah, just a journey of exploration of this plant. And that was a super interesting and rewarding part of it. It's just like getting to know all of these plants, and there were some things where I learned about like the medicinal properties, or how in the past people would dye their socks with blueberries because there are health benefits. You like absorb the blueberryness through your feet, and I can't remember what effect it has, but different things like bedcloths would be dyed in these medicinal herbs, and then you would like be breathing in these herbs while you sleep. And there's really quite an amazing history of plant dyes, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, it is. It's really cool. It adds like this whole other dimension to whatever you make with it. Is that it has the kind of that the story of the plant becomes part of it. All right, that was 10 minutes. This one feels really different again, super different than the others. All right, and this was Tony. Was and is Tony. What are people saying in the chat? What are people eating? Marcelo wants to win. Hashtag I want to win. Hashtag you might win. Who's doing Inktober? That is a good question. Ask Shannon. Who is doing Inktober? Yeah, good questions.
What is
Hyping up the chat. No one answered, so maybe no one. Hashtag I want to win. This is Gentille.nu, who we will be drawing next, which is spelled like GENTILLE.NU is her Instagram account, I believe. I can go to bed, please. Yes.
But I don't want to.
But I think you should.
No.
Don't cough on me. Go to bed.
No.
Cough in your bed.
No. It's not
Kiki,
my
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Holly's bed.
And anyone, if you would like to join us in Zoom and you know the way, then you're welcome to come to Zoom. What have I done here? Navigating OBS. I'll not repeat that. What's going on? My OBS workspace is now only the YouTube chat. So I might as well say hello in the chat. And then see, caps lock, hello. I'll have to get rid of that. Okay, now I'm back to it. Now I can see things again. Let's draw. 10 minutes.
Mm. Mm.
Don't just be disturbing, please. Now the YouTube chat just can only fill the entire screen. That's strange. So I would just look at it periodically, because now, don't just stand behind me clapping, please. If you're going to disturb me, then I would really prefer you go. If you're looking at things and doing other things, drawing along, that would be great. But if you're just clapping and coughing on me, then I'd rather you do that somewhere else. I can leave. I know there are wonderful instruments in here, but I don't want you to play them at the moment. If you want to drum, you got to do it tomorrow, not now. Um, Back to ink making. In the house we're moving to, there is an area in the basement. Yeah, go down to grandma. Okay, I can. Um, in the basement, there's an area which kind of has a kitchen, and it could be maybe like an ink making kitchen. And I'm wondering, I won't have a dedicated workspace in our new house like I do here. So I'm kind of wondering, maybe in the basement, like how can I do it? But there could be a place to cook ink and paint in the basement. So that is potentially exciting. Oh, now I have the chat back up. Um, and Clarice K is here. Cool. You're here live. That's so nice. That was a funny. I was talking last night. Maybe I don't know if Dad's still watching now or if he's already gone to bed. But my test live stream yesterday, and Dad was in the chat, and I said, "Oh, it'd be cool if Dad was drawing." And then I just noticed when I ended the stream, he was like, "What makes you think I'm not?" And I went downstairs, and he wasn't drawing. But it was funny. But he's very much been enjoying looking at my art books. It's yes, I mentioned earlier, I think before you joined Zoom, Shannon, how Dad has been using. Well, I don't know if he's using it. It's just is a thing that has been spontaneously arising. That he loves photographing people. And so he'll see people taking photos of each other. Or he'll even just see people sitting together, not taking photos of each other, but he'll see a photo and he'll be like, "Oh, you two look amazing. Give me a phone. I'll take a photo of you." And and it's interesting because he's kind of doing the stuff that Dino Sarau, whose images we're working from, is doing. Just apart from the people who get the photo, there's no evidence. It's just this act of compulsive kindness, creativity, and just it's so interesting hearing the stories. And sometimes it's also funny hearing mum on the side thinking, "Oh, you can." It's interesting because what was that? Or maybe Claire was like, "He's just taking people's phones," and it's like. Yeah, it's cool because people are trusting and they're like, "Okay, yeah, sure, take my phone." And he's told stories sometimes he takes people's photo and they're kind of like, "Oh, what's this guy doing?" Because it's pretty unusual just to have someone come and be like, "Oh, can I have your phone? Can I take a photo of you?" And then he really gets into the photographer role. And he was telling a story about a family that he photographed. And he's like, "Oh, you come over, come closer, make it look like you like each other." And getting close, and then really turns it into an event. And then when they see the photos afterwards, they're like, "Oh wow, these are really good." And and they kind of go through this phase of being like, what is this guy doing? And then at the end they have this nice photo, and it's so cool. Just kind of this way of going through the world, seeing potential photos, and then making them happen, and then just passing on like the wind, and then they just have this cool photo as like a memory of it. And and I think it's really cool that he's been like sharing his passion and creativity in that way. Even though sometimes for mum it might be a bit like, because there's no. It's interesting. He's beautifully childlike, and sometimes there's just like no filter, and you just like see something, have this impulse, and act upon it, and some people say no, and that's fine. But sometimes it turns into a really wonderful story. And it's something I've thought about a lot with like the sketching and there's all the street photography stuff, and I guess it's part of the medium of Instagram Reels and Shorts and TikTok and stuff, that you have these like bam, bam, you watch something for 30 seconds, you see this incredible intimate experience, and there are these images, and it's like, wow, this is so cool. And it's like, I've thought about it for years and years and years. Like I remember being in Amsterdam, like 9 years ago it must have been, because Kira was pregnant with Arvid, and just seeing people and thinking, oh, it'd be so cool just like to take photos of people and then go home and draw them, and it doesn't have the same immediacy of just like on the street, bam, 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 here are the photos, look at that, like whoa. But I still feel like it'd be such a cool thing to do. And it's interesting because it's a different genre than photography, obviously. Anyone here who's drawing along and has practiced drawing, like taking a beautiful, amazing photo is also something that requires practice and knowledge and experience to do it, and just be able to be like, get the perfect shot. But even if it was like a 10-minute sketch like this, it's like, I guess it would be doable, like depending on what people are up to and what the context is, to just be like, oh, do you have 10 minutes and can I draw you? And yeah, why not? It could be totally cool. I used to, I don't know, my kind of perception of time has changed a lot since I was in my 20s, I think. And but I used to have a lot of time when I was traveling a lot and just like no plans, and like I totally would have sat for some random person for 10 minutes, half an hour on the street. All right, 10 minutes is up. I feel like the likeness is not quite there, but I still really like it. All right, I feel like I want to keep working on this, but I will stop for now. But it could be one to return to. Oh, someone wants to get into Zoom. Huh. It's Sarah. Welcome to Zoom. Hello, nice to have you here. Mum was in the chat responding to what I was saying. Haha, they know Dad can't run away with their phones. Yeah, he's not as sprightly as he used to be, and that's okay. Yeah, yeah, I should, right? Hmm. It's interesting. Yeah, I think that would be so cool. It's a thing I should do. I think I've wanted to do it for a long time. Here, I shared this. Yeah, because I was wondering, because now I see all this stuff, and there are these examples of people doing these incredible things, and then they film it, and they had this great content, and it's like, oh, that would be so cool. How could it be content though? And then I see Dad just doing it for the passion of doing it, without, he has no urge or desire to, like, he's not thinking about content. He doesn't even keep the photos. It just gives it to the people. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I had this um, Michael Samurai. I shared this one to my Instagram stories. This so cool, such a cool series of photos. Um, Michael underscore Samurai on Instagram, and this was an image I was very excited about drawing last time. That would be really cool. I think that'd be so cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder how I could make it, because it's so interesting. Just just the past couple of days, like, because Shannon and I were having this conversation in Zoom about how I should just do this thing that I really want to do because it would be so cool, and it would be so cool, and I should just do it. But just the last couple of days, there are these things that I would love to do, and I know, even like going for a bike ride. I thought it'd be so cool to go for a bike ride, and I just didn't, and it wouldn't take long. But it's like, okay, I've got to do this stuff, I've got to do this stuff, I've got to do that, got to do that, and there's just constantly like all these things to do, and finding finding a way to actually do things, like in the kind of the context, all the things, like there's the family, and like trying to figure out work, and uh, they're just like constantly all these challenges, and I feel like it would just be the coolest thing, but then to, yeah, prioritize, make time to just do the cool thing would, yeah, got to do it. Thank you for daring me. Yeah. How's that? Like, what does Drawn Together need from your side at the moment to be? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. And the actual technical side of streaming, like I've worked through my streaming difficulties that I've been having. Um, how how's that looking for you at the moment? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Cool. The shadows on this photo are so cool. Really great shapes that we have here. welcome to Zoom. If anyone who wants to join Zoom, we would love to have you join. And you can also just hang out with us. There are also people just sitting with us and listening and drawing along. And it just feels like we're sitting at a table together. Some people talk, some people don't, and everyone is welcome. And if you join us in Zoom, it would be great if you could mute YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, nice to have you. Nice to have you all here. Oh, I said something earlier about. Oh, Laurie has to go. This was fun, wasn't it? Thank you for joining. I said something earlier about the. I would see if I can put the Discord server in the chat. I talked about it, and then I forgot to see if I could share it with you, because it would be cool to have people in there interacting with each other, becoming art friends. And if you're posting on Instagram, I'd love you to tag me, or wherever you post. Maybe you post on YouTube. Maybe you post on TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is. Maybe you just show your neighbors. Maybe don't show anyone. That's all. It's all good. But if you are sharing, then it'd be great to tag me so I can see. And I'd love to share it to my stories as well on Instagram. Yeah, we could do. We could. So what's something that is really cool about the Discord server is there are different channels, and so far it's pretty quiet over there. But I think it has like really a lot of potential, because it can be a place like to check in, to be like, oh, what are people doing? People have like shared work or have questions or like some feedback. But yeah, there could be a motivational channel for people who want to just have a kind of like ongoing support crew, or checking in. It would be cool, like if I do daily. I was thinking yesterday, like I did this spontaneous stream and it was so much fun, and there was like minimal preparation. Like if I got back to the daily live stream idea someday, the 10-minute portrait challenge, like 10 minutes a day, that's doable. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. Cool, cool. Yeah. Oh, cool. That's so cool. Awesome. Yeah, it was. Oh, that's cool. Funny. If I come, so everyone can feel free to binge watch my videos. There was a lot on YouTube, and I wonder, yeah, if you if I just become a part of your subconscious if you watch enough of the videos. Cool. Um, yeah, it was. I was really happy, Louisa, that you jumped on the live stream yesterday, which was totally unannounced. And you're like, "Isn't it bedtime?" um, yeah, and it was because everyone who was joining the regular um, streams, and like Zan often hanging out in streams, Shannon of course, and everyone who would come and pop into Zoom, and or people who were watching, just seeing like the name and the circular like profile pic in the YouTube chat, like it's just the sense of familiarity drawing together. And I know there's also heaps of people who don't even say anything in the chat, but whatever way people are participating, even if it's silently, it's just really cool to like do this and know that we're, doing it together. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's really interesting. So the comment was just like sometimes it's hard to do it alone and it's nice to have company. And I was thinking um like looking through my work, as I mentioned that we're moving, and I'm like looking through my drawers, looking through all this work I've been doing, and so much of it is from live streams or from tutorials that I've filmed, and it's like creating the context for it to happen, and like just coming and being like, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to like do it together with everyone. It's making it possible for me as well, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. and the past few months I've had a couple of jobs, which is good. I need to have jobs. And really minimal time for just like doing any personal work or anything. And then realizing when I did so much streaming that I was just constantly creating the context to do it in. So it's for me, it's the same. It's like when I'm streaming and doing it and hosting it, it's like then I'm doing it. And there are always so many other things to do and things that need to be done. And some of those things happen anyway. Even if we take the time to, just take 2 hours to draw together, then those things still get done. So, there's just a minute left. Right now, nothing, but like the things that, yeah, the everyday stuff, the washing, like, like it's still going to get done sometime. Or it's like working out. Yeah, my kids are fed and dressed. Um, and it's interesting because like Shannon is my support and encouragement working out, and I have finding new exercise friends. And I was talking to my parents about it today, how I've often found it hard to create a context where I have to do exercise. Like if I have to do it, if I'm riding my bike to work, then I do it and I love it. But if it's like I've got all these other things to do and it's like just taking the time just to move, even though it's super important, like it can be really hard to prioritize and just do it. Yeah, get good and addicted to movement and drawing. That's something we could all do together. We can all keep each other drawing and keep each other moving. Um, I actually don't. I do not have a compulsion to draw. I don't feel weird if I don't. I notice like with this stream, not having streamed for a while, that like, it feels different. Like it's strange to not have done it for so long because it became so normal. But like, I think in summer when we went traveling, apart from my Tuesday sessions, which I host, so I have to be there, I pretty much didn't draw, and it didn't feel weird. So just taking the time away was just like, it was just fine. So, hmm? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. Interesting question. That's will be an interesting question for the next pose, because 10 minutes is up. I like this. I like this a lot. Um, Samurai Michael. Someone just bought me a coffee. Thank you. If you would like to support these live streams, you can buy me a coffee. You can also sign up to my Patreon, where I have monthly tutorials, and you can also get original art from my Patreon. I will draw something for you every month if you want. And in the coming days, I'm somehow going to announce that all of my work is purchasable. I said it in my newsletter today. Sign up to my newsletter. The link is also in the description. There are lots of good links in the description of this YouTube video. Yeah, I'm going to sell everything. and I don't know who's going to buy it, but I'm going to sell all of it. And I'm thinking it's going to be between €50 and €300 for various things, and I'm going to share. And if you get lots of those things, then I will give you more things for free. The more you buy, the more you get. Exactly. Yes, you can't afford not to buy my work, because I just give you so much. So much of my work and so much love. I just, yeah. Much, that would be funny to think that. Well, that's nice. I'm so glad that you have a peace of mind, Shannon. Like that. Yeah, I was going to say you have many, but I'm thinking of the one of tolling that I did for you. That was yeah. Yeah. It's special. On my yeah. Oh yeah. Anyone who has my work, feel free to send me testimonials. I'll put them places. um, the the wedding portrait that I did for Clary was so nice to make, and she sent me this lovely reply and was like, use that as a testimonial. I just remembered I'm not finished. We're about to draw Catherine, but I remembered I said about showing you the natural ink stuff and how things have changed. This? No, it's in watercolor. Can't really see this, but this was we just have a little intermission. I feel like this is close to the end of the live stream, but let's call it an intermission. This is one of the first tutorials I made, and I look at it now and I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. I should do more stuff like this. It's interesting to look back. Sometimes I keep learning and doing stuff, but like to look back to this, I don't know, there's something. It's an amazing reference of Dan, Human the Dan on Instagram. And it was super special. This is because it was like in the first set of tutorials I ever made for Sketchy. And this has changed a bit. This had some purples in it. So there was like purple in here. And now it isn't, but it's still, it touches me. Like this is something I still really love, even though it doesn't look like how it did when I first made it. Yeah, that's a cool idea. It would be that would be really cool, especially for the other people who are curious about natural inks. Or here, this is Acorn ink. This is one of the first Acorn ink portraits I did, and it has a red. This has not faded at all. So yeah, this is really, really cool. That was something I wanted to mention because it still looks how it looked when I made it like 5 or 6 years ago. This has not faded. Yes, exactly. And this is Acorn ink. And this is cabbage and poppy. And the poppy is the like red brown color. And both of these colors have changed, but both of them still look really cool. That'd be really interesting to see. That I'd be really interested to see that too. Well, this also hasn't changed. Oh, and this is of Ziona. Uh, uh, that was fun to make. And this is interesting. Oh, this is also interesting. This is blueberry ink, and some avocado ink, and it had a really different color, but it still has this cool gray blue. I have another piece which is up on the wall, which I use the same blueberry ink, um, and it still looks really cool. I think this is like a combination either of blueberry and avocado because it has like this dark red. The hatching is this dark red, and that could be avocado ink. Um, and I'll see if I can bring this up because this is really interesting. Um, this is a. Unfortunately, I can't zoom out far enough to show you the whole thing all at once, but I made this for a tutorial called. It was a life book class, and these are poppy petals. I collected. This is poppy and red cabbage, and I collected the poppies on the summer solstice, and then I filmed a tutorial which was released on the summer solstice of the next year of the poppies from the summer solstice. And this was on a field just outside, across from where I used to live. And I collected the poppy petals with my kids, and it was so cool. And there were like bumblebees flying around all over the place. It was so good. A very enjoyable process making this. And I just yesterday found, I think I can just drop it in here. This is how it looked. And it has changed so much. And I think it's still beautiful, the colors, but it's so different to how it looked when it was fresh. So this has like the vitality of the summer solstice, of these fresh colors, like freshly squeezed directly from the petals, and it's so vivid. But even after it's faded, it's still really nice. Like this deep dark red and this kind of purpley grey. So yeah, that has been really interesting to see that it's changed so much. Yeah, exactly. It has become really muted, and it was so exciting when it was so vivid, but it's also beautiful in this like muted, aged state. Oh, the goals. I have collected goals. I have not found many of them. I have collected some, but I have not used it yet. I suspect that the oak gall ink it will look very similar to this, but I know that the tannin is way more potent in the galls than in the acorns, and so I suspect it may be really darker than this. So maybe you can see this is not as dark as this. Um, yeah, so I think maybe the oak galls, because they're so high in tannin, the reaction to the iron is I expect it's going to be much darker. I'm really excited to make it because I've collected oak galls, but I haven't made the ink yet. Um, yeah, indeed, and it'll be exciting. It'll be like I'll be happy to share it when I finally do, because I just didn't find any oak galls. And I know there are some places, like there are a lot of oaks here, but I just didn't find any galls, and it was kind of concerning. Like, where are all the wasps? Where are the wasps that are supposed to live in the trees? Yeah, and then so I hadn't found them, but then like last year or the year before, we were somewhere, and then I found a lot of them, which was good. Because it's just like, there are supposed to be these wasps. Where are they? Yeah, so oak galls important, and the important thing about them is if you do find them, don't take them when they're still fresh, because there are tiny little wasps living inside, and they need to leave before it can be collected and you can make ink with it. Otherwise, you're just negatively impacting the life cycle of this relationship between the oak tree and the wasps. So oak galls can only be collected after the wasps have hatched, I guess, left the protection of the oak. Yeah, that's right. Once it becomes evident once they have left, because and the ones that I have are in various stages of decay, and some of them you see like you can see kind of the structure below, but it's still it's lost the surface, the skin of this little ball that they make, but it's still like potent with tannins, which is cool. Yeah, and with all of the natural ink stuff, it's really important to keep in mind the natural life cycle of these plants and not to negatively impact it. So it's really great. Like malva or mallow is a beautiful purple flower. It has such an incredible color, and once it's been pollinated, the flower will just like close and wither and fall off, and then you can collect them like once they have done their thing and they've been pollinated, then they don't need the blossom anymore, and then it just kind of it shrivels up and the seed pod starts to grow, and after it drops the petals, then they're free for the taking, because I have not witnessed any animals eating the petals. So it's like noticing when is the right moment to forage and collect in a way which fits in with the life cycle of those plants is important and enjoyable to learn about that. Yeah. Let's draw Catherine. It's that's really interesting to see how it's just yeah, just kind of merging into the background, that tone. It's really interesting. I have a couple more references, but I think this might be the last one. It's getting a bit late here. I have loved being here with you. See how we go. Yeah, I think I will go through all of my sketches once this is done. Try and figure out a way to pick a winner from you. So stick around, and yeah, there'll be a time for reflection and chatting. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any point in the chat. Red, blue. I'm not sure what color to use. Just have something different. So this will be the last 10-minute portrait, and then there'll be a moment to look at what we've done together, or at least look at what I've been doing. But I would love to see your work as well. So if there's a place where you share, please tag me, because I'd love to see it. Yeah, we'll go with the red. Yeah, so have I. It is really nice to have you here, being a part of it, all of you. But thank you, Zan. And yeah, if you haven't already, I would love you to sign up to my mailing list. Link is in the description below, because when I'm going to do these live streams, I can let you know about it there. Oh, I wanted to see if I can put the Discord link in the chat. Yeah, I'm grabbing the link. Okay, and I'm not sure if it'll be usable in the chat, but we can try. It's weird, it's not letting me paste it in there. Oh, you might have to write to me if you want to get in. It'd be nice to make it easy and accessible. I'll post it in my YouTube stories, and then you can click on the link there if you're on YouTube. There is a very cool challenge going on at the moment, which I kind of thought that maybe I would be able to do, but I haven't been able to do much of it so far, is the Canyo Sketch It challenge. And the challenge is to fill a sketchbook in a month, which I have done in the past. But it's been a couple of years since that. I think this is the third installation of the challenge. And there's an Instagram account, Canyo Sketch It, Caneyo Sketch It, and it's a people can. There's no guidelines for what you should be doing. It's just like create. So there's a lot of people are just doing their thing, and they're doing a lot of cool things. It's really nice to see. Yeah, well, I'm sure if you could just keep going, why not? Yeah, yeah, totally. I guess it also depends on the sketchbook, because I have these Hanemüller Nostalgie sketchbooks which have a lot of pages, and they're A4 size, so they're quite big. And then I've been doing my Tuesday sketches in this sketchbook, which I actually started 2 years ago and never finished. And I was thinking maybe I could use this challenge to finish the sketchbook. And it's been a while since I've been doing my Tuesday sketches in the sketchbook, which is it's cool because I switched to doing big open pages. Like I used to always do it in sketchbooks, and it was fun just to like expand out onto an open page. And now it's been interesting because the sketchbook is just compositionally very different, and the way it's like a landscape orientation book, and the way the sketches sit on the page together can become really interesting. And having them together in the sketchbook, it has this kind of sequential feel to it. Whereas the stacks of loose pages that I have, once they get jumbled up, like I don't date them. It would be interesting if I did. Some of them I know exactly when they're from, but some is like, oh, when was that? So it loses that sequential kind of element, just being on loose pages. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, so I took, in this sketchbook that I was just talking about, there are sketches that I did on a Tuesday 2 years ago. And then I was using the empty space between the sketches to put new sketches in, and the interaction between the drawings from 2 years ago and the present day drawings was really interesting. And a cool thing there as well was that sometimes the person who was being drawn, like the spot available was them 2 years ago. So that was really cool. Everyone is welcome to come and draw with us on Tuesdays, by the way. I have my Zoom room open every Tuesday and we hang out and sketch together. That is at 7:30 German time. Yeah, Central European time, 7:30. That is 1:30 in New York City and other places. Yeah. And so if that sounds interesting, you write to me. I always post the link on Instagram. It's in my stories and in my bio there. It's on my website. On my website, I have a Learn With Me page and the Tuesday Zoom link, which is actually the same link that you use to get in here if you're in Zoom. It's the same link, and it's 7:30 Central European time every Tuesday. No, you just go in. It's you can make a donation if you like, or you can, yeah, like a coffee. Exactly. No, coffee's great. Yeah, I have buy me a coffee or PayPal, and that is a great way to contribute. Yeah, be lovely to have you there. And yeah, everyone with access to Zoom is welcome. That is a live only event. There's no recordings, and we just hang out, and it's learning by doing. It's just practice. So we have someone who will pose, and the poses are between what everyone who wants to can pose. At any given time, there'll be one person who's spotlighted and holds a pose between 30 seconds and 6 minutes while they're being drawn. And you can be, yeah, and you can be there and draw along. And if you don't want to be drawn, that's totally fine. So don't feel like, oh, I won't go because I don't want to be on camera. That is totally fine. You don't have to be on camera. The speed in the beginning, it can feel a bit confrontational, but I have found it so beneficial. Like, because it's like 30 seconds, I got nothing to lose. In the beginning, the first time I did 30-second sketches, I was sweating. Like, it was just like, whoa. But now it's just kind of like, it's a great way to not be attached to the outcome. Yeah, right. Interesting that you mentioned that, Chris, that it felt strange not to start with 30-second drawings. As we started with that drawing of Angelo, went straight to 10 minutes, and I also was like, oh, should we do a warm-up? Yeah. That will be interesting, because I also felt it in that first drawing, a reference which I loved and it's so nice. But as I was drawing it, it's like, oh, it doesn't have, like I wasn't loosened up yet. And so I feel like there's a huge benefit to doing that kind of really quick timed sketching, because you start to get into the flow. And it doesn't mean, like, sometimes at the end of the session, I feel like after 2 hours, like, oh, now I'm doing these sketches which feel really good. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes the ones that feel most alive are like the 2-minute sketches. And that's really interesting. Yeah. I feel that's been a huge part of it. It's been a big part of why I was doing it. It was like, I would like to be able to get started quicker. And at the time I thought I had done a series of like portraits where I spent 4 to 5 hours on each portrait. And I was like, I would like to start strong, quicker, loose, like without using a grid or something that can be kind of stifling, accurate but stifling. I would like to be able to just get started and feel good about it, because often I would just get started and be like, well, that doesn't look right. And just the consistent practice. Yeah, has helped to become loose in those first steps. Like, whereas years ago when I was doing all these longer pieces, it'd be like this whole preparatory phase. And now when it's like, okay, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, it's just like, okay, just start drawing. And cumulatively, I feel like there's really, I'm able to step into it more consistently. And it doesn't mean that every time I'm like, yeah. It's like they're not all bangers. But just taking those first steps becomes less taxing. And an interesting thing is the more you do it, like in the beginning, the early days, where you're aspirational and are like, I would love my image to look really nice, but I haven't made many yet. And then I do it and it doesn't look nice. And I'm like, nah. But then after you've just keep practicing, and you start to internalize the movements in your process. And it's a journey, and I don't think there's any shortcuts to it. But it's just collecting, like realizing, oh, I can start and it can be off, but that's okay. Or sometimes I'll start and be like, oh, this one is like on point. Or sometimes like you muddy through it, kind of finding a way, and there may be some point in the process where you can like fix things up. And there's like, it feels different every time, but the more of it you do, you start to be like, oh, this is like one of those which instantly looks good, or this is one which I can't figure out. And just to know that that's just part of the process, and go through having that, the wealth of experience of lots of practice where you just jump into it. It changes the relationship to the expected outcome, I think. To be out. Yeah. 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 Yeah, the discovery of the process, that's really nice. Like, you you may think, that there may be this thing like you want to go to that final image, and that's how I felt. Like, I was like, I have this idea, and it's going to be like this and this and this and this is going to be, and I want these elements, and then it's like, and that's also a very interesting process to be like, how do you bring all of that together and realize it in a compelling way? Like, it's cool to have that behind it, but then there's already such a thought process which has gone into, this is what I want it to be. And then when you're like stuck in the muck of trying to make it happen, and just like, it doesn't look like my dream. Like that just to become familiar with that feeling and realize that's okay, and that's part of the process. That's important, because I can remember just like freezing up on pieces, being like, there's so much potential, and I know what this could be, and I'm just afraid to do it. Because at that point I didn't have the wealth of experience of just starting again and again and again, and then finding my way. Yeah, it would be nice. Like, I wonder if that can be said and imparted in a way that makes, like I said, there's no shortcuts, but the kind of, to be able to come to the realization sooner that it's okay. that could be nice. The 10 minutes are well and truly done. Thank you, Hilda. It was lovely reminiscing about the ink making classes, that you loved doing them. I loved putting them together, and I loved making them, and I still think it was great and important, and I feel like there will be some continuation of it at some stage. I'm going to have a look through all the sketches I've done. Hashtag I want to win. If you would like to win one of them, one person will win one. All of the others will be available for sale. And someone will win one, and I'll send it anywhere in the world with the postal address. But how am I going to do it this time? I may have to announce it after the live stream, because I'm not using the fancy, expensive live streaming software that I was earlier in the year, because I was paying €50 a month for StreamYard, and this also works really well. I just can't instantly pick a winner from the live stream. Maybe I'll look into it. Then maybe there are other ways around that. Have one of the kids. I hang on. Maybe there is a not too difficult way. I'll just count how many I want to wins there are, and then I'll go to random.org to pick the number, and then I'll count my way through it. And we can just, this will be a great time to chat and photograph your work. You could already post it to the places you like to post. I've hidden the sketches. I wanted to bring them up to kind of reflect upon the last 2 hours that we've shared together. It's been so beautiful. Seriously. So I'll just put these up. I'll count. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I already spotted a double I want to win. I'll try to not to double up. This won't be the most important part to watch, but maybe the most suspense. All right. 14 I counted without doubling up, I hope. There was some repeated hashtag I want to wins, which is great because chat as much as you want in the chat. I'll talk about these in a moment, but here I'll just put something else up as I go to random.org, which is a surprisingly useful website. And then I put that in there, and I say generate, and it says 13, so I don't have to count back very far. And Kiki wins. Congratulations, Kiki. Oh, that's so cool that you're here in Zoom as well. You win. I will send you one of these. Yeah, it's so nice that you're actually here in the Zoom room, and I get to hear your immediate reaction. Cool. Nice. Oh, good. Yeah, so you love them all. You get to choose one, and it will be yours. And so, yeah. Isabel, yeah. Of course. I think Isabel, that was such a wonderful photo, and I feel like a really strong drawing. So, yeah, Isabel is yours. So this, I think, is really interesting at the moment to look at Angelo and Catherine together, because this was, this is interesting. As I was drawing Angelo, I was like, oh, I'm not really into it yet, but it has a really different quality to it, which I enjoy. This has become very clear, and this is like, I feel like this is what I can do. And this was kind of still finding my way. Yeah, so it's really interesting to go through the process. This was such a wonderful profile, Isabel. Oh, I will have to find the last version I did from this, because both of them I really enjoyed. Michael, Samurai Michael, it's super fun. I love the reference. All of the reference I loved. Yeah, so this has been really fun doing these together. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm so glad that so many of you were here. Yeah, so if you are sharing your work, Instagram is where I am most active. You can also tag me on Facebook, because I'm there too. But I definitely I inhabit Instagram more than Facebook. I'm there a lot more. But you can tag me anywhere, and if I see it, I'm happy to share it. That would be great. Lisbeth, whose name did you put in the chat here? Lyron Yakonski. We'll have to look it up. Yeah, thank you everyone. This has been super fun. And there'll be another one of these soon because it's super fun. Yeah, it's really great to get back to it. And I'm very thankful that you're all here to do this together. Yeah, my pleasure. Take care. And yeah, have a good night. If you want to get on the Discord server, then let me know and I will send you the link. I'll put it in my Instagram stories so you can get into it from there, because I think there's a really cool potential for sharing things in a focused setting rather than Instagram, which can be wonderful, but there's so much going on there. So yeah, see you in all those places and see you here again next time too. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye. The YouTube button.